I love that the from P14 onwards they group together in their teams. That's quite nice. Red Bull, Williams, and Racing Point. Maybe a glimpse into what we're going to see when the F1 season does eventually restart again, potentially. Who knows? Red Bull down in P14, though. That wouldn't be very nice, would it? The third to last constructor. That would be pretty tragic, to say the least. Right then, the Racing Point boys are just slotting into their grid spots. The lights are about to appear. There they are. And Hyperz will hopefully get another good start then. Nicolas Longate's jumped the start. He's already got a drive-through penalty. The race has not got better for him, but he is looking to get some positions gained. He is going for a huge send down the inside. Hyperz has managed to lock that one down. He's not going to lose any positions there. Nicolas Longate's got caught up in a little bit of contact between him and the Haas of Yonti, but he's still alive, and I don't think he's got any wing damage. No, he's kept it clean. He's right there on the back of Yenab. Yenab's trying to hold the inside as quick as much as he can, and I think we're going to make it through turn 3 relatively unscathed. Everybody's alive.
Yeah, I didn't see any wings flying off that time, unlike last time for Brownie, I believe it was. So he'll be happy with that start. That's much better than previous. As Longate going down the inside again, go with wheels.
Watch out for Fresh 91 second, because he's going for a lunge down the inside of Pampernick. That's into turn 3. Oh, back end steps into the side of the Ferrari, and it is a position change. I think Yolta might actually go for this as well. Yes, he is. He's taken the outside line through turn 4. Don't think Pampernick is going to have an answer to this. Or yes, he is. He's later on the brakes. That means he runs deeper. Yolta tried the cutback. It did not work out. Let them pass. Just follow them in their toe. Use their and it's exactly what he's doing. Infamous is through. Same place, same time as the last race, and then Hyperz will stay P2. No, this time, no punt in the backside for Hyperz, so no panic attack, no code brown, as Fresh Schneider's half a second back.
He's on the inside of this corner, actually.
Oh, actually, Pampernick is going to be very close. No, I was completely wrong. Pampernick is actually going to be going side-by-side drag racing up towards turn 3, and it's... Oh, I was right. No.
Overcut works.
Oh, no, because he was actually... Fresh Schneider was P3 behind Hyperz. Pampernick is now ahead of Fresh Schneider. He's put a car between them. Pampernick is actually better off now. Yeah, the overcut didn't work. It backfired. Although Fresh Schneider's going for a send in towards turn 4. That's a lunge and a half, and I think he's pulled it off. Yes, he has. No contact for him and Pampernick. Yolta, very much still in the DRS, has actually reset Pampernick and Yolta.
The JC. That's my prediction correct. That was Hyperz infamous to Schneider, wasn't it? That was my prediction.
Yes.
So I'm looking good at the moment. I'm sticking with that. I'm not planning on changing that. If Hyperz can get himself in front of JC after the DRS ban, which is going to be crucial, very close, then he's got a blockade between himself and Infamous, which is going to help him. Slower blockade. He needs to do it at the exit of turn 4.
Somebody is in trouble right now. He needs to get a move on. He needs to find a way past Copy. Everybody else passed Copy at a perfect opportunity, but if he doesn't pass him now... Alright, this is it. This is where somebody loses the train now. Get-on's got a penalty, which will help out for him, but look at the gap that Copy's got to get on. This is 8 tenths. This is where somebody is losing out. There's actually Infamous and Just Chilling are going side by side throughout. Just Chilling will filter into P3, but if you keep a firm eye locked on somebody who's trying his best to get past Copy and he just can't do it, that gap is now over a second. Copy has really held Smitty back there as that technical failure. Hyperz can just pass him and run. Hyperz has to pass him now and run. Right now, home straight, go. Mode 4. No. Yeah, that's a bit late on that. You've got to just pull it past him.
Have they got a Jeff? Jeb's their Jeff?
Jeb is their Jeff. Come on, Hyperz. This is your time to run. He knows it. Infamous, are you going to defend this? Are you going to go for the inside? He's not. Hyperz has gone for the send. He's going to hold it. Is this going to be tight? Yes, it's gone for a very tight line. Puts Infamous right onto the exit curve. This is allowed Fresh Schneider through. And now Hyperz is in a whole different world of pain because he knows,
DRS as well.
What do I do? How do I get past this? Fresh Schneider's getting defended on the inside. Fresh Schneider's still stuck inside. There's contact into the two of them. Hyperz holds it. He's still P1 and Fresh Schneider's trying to stick it out. Infamous, he's coming to get back on the inside of Fresh Schneider. This could go seriously wrong. Hyperz has to run. There is no way that Fresh Schneider can keep this, surely. Infamous is stuck there. There's no DRS to this entire final sector. Hyperz is breaking away. Half a second now. Can he break the 1 second margin? He has to go. He cannot wait any longer. And the gap is closing in.
Little run. Half a second off. And if he just get fixed any moment, he has a chance of catching back up. But he'll still get P2 as it stands. I don't think even if he had it fixed, he'll get P2 off or P1 off Fresh Schneider, should we say.
Hyperz needs to let Fresh Schneider go. He needs to do it now.
I think he's just quite happy to stay there.
Yeah, but he's looking at ERS, he's burning. He's in so much trouble. I mean, realistically, he's fighting for the P3 no matter what now because they haven't broke outside of Infamous's DRS. But ultimately, Fresh Schneider will help Hyperz if Hyperz can get just lane by. But
you've jinxed one of these grid and getting penalties. Fresh Schneider's made the move there on Hyperz. He has gone through to take the lead of this race.
Look at the gap. Look at the gap. Infamous and Hyperz. The gap is extending. He's still not got DRS. He's having to absolutely melt as we come through the second to last corner. Fresh Schneider, who had a rough race last week out, will take the final corner very cleanly, no penalties for him, and takes the 25 points with Hyperz in P2, but gets knocked down to P3 as a result of the penalty. With Yolta coming across line P4, Pampernick P5, Zones will take P6. Yes, Brownie! Oh, hello Brownie. He shoots up to P5 by keeping it consistent. That is a 4-5 Renault. Geton will finish P8 as some idiot finished at P9. Yonti will cross the line and take the final points position. I don't think he has penalties. That's just Chilling will cross and take 11th. Danico will take 12th as Poppy comes through the line eventually and will take P13 with Wemmels in tow. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Britain. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me is so good to say this. Welcome back, Mr. Kodiak. How you doing?
I am very well, and pumped to be back in the Rwagnation Comedy Box once again. Apologies for my absence for one reason or another. Has kept me away from this glorious league, but I am really looking forward to this.
Me too. I mean, it's such a brilliant circuit, isn't it? It's obviously, this Silverstone is a classic when it comes to these circuits on the calendar. And whilst Nicolas is currently topping the driver's standings, he actually starts today with a quali ban. So, despite the fact he's probably more than likely going to be the fastest driver on the track today, I actually don't think he has the ability to pull it back through the field.
Well, it rather depends if we have a repeat of the weather you just had for F2. That's always the level. Yeah, that's always the leveler, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he doesn't have some kind of extenuating circumstance, meteor on the track or someone out there with sprinklers or something, I think it's going to be. The field is too good. Yeah. Of course, if anybody can, of course he can.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean.
He needs circumstances to go in his favour to realistically pull that off, and I don't think he'd argue with that particular fact.
No, I mean, we look at the esport works hotspots. We do have Brooklands, which is one of the areas where, he's going to have to try and pull these overtakes off, as Martin G and Bird had a little moment where they went through and swapped places. Martin G pulled off a monumental cutback on Bird and managed to work it all the way through with no issues. Then he come to Vale, as Martin G and Bird had similar issues, this time not working out in anywhere near the same level of fashion, as we did, in fact, lose Bird, who did retire from that session. And here we go with a hot lap here from Yonti as we come up towards turn 1. It's a DRS straight. Oh, it was, sorry. It's no longer, actually. I hushed my mouth. As turn 1 and then turn 2. Make sure you don't brake too late because you have got a awkward right-hander here for turn 3. And again, you can't even accelerate too hard because you very easily lose the back end as you come into turn 4. Turn 5 is quite simple, nice and flat. Don't worry about it. Just keep your foot planted as you open the DRS swing to go right the way down into a very tricky chicane here. It's a long sweeping left-hander and then a long, slow sweeping right-hander. Almost a hairpin, to be truthfully honest, with the way that you actually take the corner. And then again, you need to get the exit of Dreams here because this is a very crucial series of corners. You're coming up now to Cobb's Corner, which used to be the old start line. It's no longer the case and hasn't been for a few years now. But Yonti makes that look very simple as we come into probably now the most famous section of corners, Maggots and Beckett's. Make sure you get the angles perfectly, apex every corner just right, because this one here is the most crucial. Get the exit of Dreams again, get the DRS wing wide open, and if you're towing someone down here, this will massively work in your favour as you come up towards tow. Brake just before you get to the curb and then get that car turned in very nicely. Again, don't turn in too soon. Most people will be running wide at Stowe, I imagine, because the track limits here are obscene. As we go through the final 2 corners. There's the second to last and now the final. Again, don't get too early on the accelerator because you can very easily lose the rear end as Yonti crosses the line to do a solid lap time. And now we get to see these guys do it for realsies.
Did Mr. Bacchini have a penalty or some such to serve?
He did. He did indeed.
Aha.
He hasn't raced for a few weeks.
I was thinking, I'm sure he hasn't binned it somewhere, but yeah, he's retired from the session. So I had a feeling that was the case. Again, please, dear audience, forgive my ignorance, as it's been a little while since I was in this commentary box for a few reasons, which we won't go into now. So I'm catching up as best I can.
Well, in fairness, I mean, it's good to have you back regardless, so you're very well forgiven. Don't you worry about it. There are a driver or two that you... I think everybody here you recognise. There's no one new here. There's something that I don't know if you were here for the announcement. Did you know that CRG Simon has been signed as a Haas reserve?
I saw the Twitter about that, yes.
He's yet to race, though, because both drivers have both been in attendance. We have had the main driver for Racing Point, not Nicolas, his meant to be his co-driver, which is Daniel. He's had a game issue. He's not been able to get the game working for quite some weeks now, which is why he's not been in any of the races. So Absinthe is filling in as their reserve, but there is potentially a space opening in the Racing Point team. So we'll see where that future brings. We don't know who's going to be filling that space, if that space even is being opened up, because it's not yet confirmed what is happening, but watch the news because some changes may occur. However, we are currently going through our first sprints, if you like, to get some lap times on the banking stage, if you like. And I'm going to do it to you, just because I can. What is your top 1, 2, 3? Really?
I've been out for 3 odd weeks. And Absinthe has binned it somewhere, or he's decided to... Oh, yeah, he has. I think he's had trouble. He's had trouble down before the Wellington Straight.
Yep.
I don't know what he's done. The only reason I know he's there is because I saw his dot on the map. It really depends on the weather. Very much depends on the weather. I'm going to go with... I grumble at you every time you do this. Well, that was one of my selections, Mr. Preishnader. There's time to come off of that, I'm sure. 25.7. Decent time, but he was not at full crank for all of that. Your sensible money's got to go with our current top 2 of Preishnader and Hyperz. It's going to be a wild card third entry again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for whom? Yeah. But we have had some, there have been some very surprising third place finishes in this season so far. So really, it could go to anyone. We've bet on Infamous before, and he's been a little bit up and down. I don't think you'll argue with that particular analysis, as he slots into 5th with 26.3. You know what? I'm gonna give Get Owned a shout.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with I think Get Owned's gonna take the 3rd spot.
Okay.
It's going to be between Pracenader and Hyperz. Which way round they're going to be? I'm going to go as they currently sit. Pracenader ahead of Hyperz and Get Owned 3rd.
See, I'm with you for the first two. I think it's Pracenader just seems to be that much quicker. But I've not really seen Hyperz drive this track in quite a while, so I honestly couldn't say for sure who I think will take that top step. Yeah, I'm with you. It's rock hard. It's so difficult. Infamous would be the normal. You would suspect he would be the go-to. I actually am in the same boat. I don't think Infamous is going to make it onto the top 3 today. I actually don't think he's going to finish the race in the top 3 today, and that hurts me to say, because whilst you're not meant to have favourites, he is currently my favourite driver on the track. So
any commentator is a liar if they say they don't have favourites. I'm putting that out there right now.
It's so true. It's so true. You know what? I'm gonna back the American. I'm gonna go with some idiot. I reckon he could get a solid P3. Although, I mean, his current time doesn't suggest that this is going too well for him, and I may look like a fool later potentially. However, I have faith. Some idiot has got good, really solid pace. Come on, don't let me down.
It's a decent enough shout, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
It really could, especially if it's wet. It could go anywhere. We've got Pampernick at the moment. I confess I'd overlooked him in the Ferrari 126.072. At the moment, just 600ths behind Hyperz. And even on a banker lap, that's really nothing to be that upset about. Interesting tactic from JC. He's gone out on the mediums. That's an unusual one.
I think he's just getting some laps in, honestly. He's absolutely going to go soft to mediums. He's saying himself, I was actually talking to him about this, I think a couple of days ago. He was saying about how we're very similar. We both suck when it comes to qualifying. Like, we are absolutely awful when it comes to the qualifying, but then when it comes to the race pace, that's when we start to come into our element. We are better at race pace, not the best, but better at race pace, and that's where Just Chilling seems to be more consistent. He also is better when he manages to achieve a harder to softer tyre strategy, but this isn't a track where he feels he can do that, obviously, and that's why he's gone for the mediums. Just get some laps in, get those sort of muscle memory muscles, if you like, going. Put yourself back into that territory again, chuck on some softs, and then hopefully qualify as far up the field as possible, and then continue that throughout. Because on this track, softs and the mediums are pretty similar when it comes to tyre wear, but obviously when it comes to the actual pace on each lap, the softs are much faster.
Pracenader and Hyperz have come straight back out. I actually thought that Pracenader might hang back a little bit. Let the track rubber in a bit, maybe do a bit of a banzai at the end. But, my kind of predictions from qualifying generally go wrong. So I'm sort of thinking we're looking at a dry race by the fact that, every time I've thought, okay, they're burning up the soft, so we must be in for a wet race, we haven't had one.
Yeah.
So we have mixed conditions in Italy, as Pracenader now starting his second time lap with 10 minutes just under left on the clock. I genuinely have no idea. There's a few clouds up in the sky, but nothing that's going to cause these guys any problems whatsoever. As I think, Pracenader's not pushing on this one for some reason. Unless he invalidated it early on because he's not turning his ERS up.
No.
It's not you don't need to put 2 laps into the softs here. So he could have gone for it straight away, but for whatever reason he's opted to just get round to the end. I'm assuming he's gonna I guess it depends on how much fuel he's got. If he's got enough to absolutely hoon it once he gets underway. Unless he felt the need to get a lap of warming, a lap of conditioning on these tyres, which is a bit odd. Not generally needed for the softs in Silverstone.
No, definitely not. To be honest, it again comes down to the tyre allocation as well. If they've gone for the softies, which wouldn't surprise me on a track like this, where you pretty much never want to touch the hards, he may go for a quadruple push. He might do 4 laps here. The main worry I've got now is that he's not actually going to be able to do that pretty much at all, which is why he's chucked himself in the pits to more than likely change his boots and go again, because if he does improve here and then struggles later, he would have done 2 laps if he had committed. I think he's done the right thing here, just, now he's 2 sets in. He's going to be on the 3rd when he goes for another push, which he will do. And then final, some idiot just really pushed the car to the limit there, going through Maggots and Beckett's.
Pan Panic has binned it on the exit of Brooklands. He's off in the dust. Someone else that was absolutely blasting it on his outlap. So much so, on my screen, his tyres are smoking in the pit lane. Is the McLaren of Zones. He was just getting to the end of his outlap and absolutely ragged it around Stowe and flew off the road. So he's really pushing on. Oh, Yelta!
Yes.
Hi!
Can I change my P3 prediction? Is that allowed? Am I allowed to now change it to Yelta? I should have backed him from the start. This kid is phenomenal. He is so quick in almost any car he sits into. I mean, he's in my iRacing team. We race together doing endurance races, and this guy just seems to naturally pick any car up, and then within a couple of laps, he knows how to drive it, like, with no issues.
See, my top 3 are in the positions I put them in.
Yeah, so, you're looking really good.
Oh, that's a decent lap as well by Ghetto in 26.024. Hyperz has improved his time 25.8, but still, Schneider, he has set an absolute stonker of a first lap. He's out again. His copy has just gone past him. But once again, the entire field, with the exception of JC, but JC's still going for those medium tyres, so he is sticking with that potential contra strategy. As someone's had a problem in sector 1 apparently, or 1 and 2, can't see who.
Ferrari. I think that's
it's got to be
Danny.
Danny, or yeah, it's got to be Danny because Pan's in the pits. So I was confident with my top 3 until you said that. But the entire field down to 14, down to Danny, is less than a second. Once again, the field spread is just absolutely super. Although the clouds are gathering.
Oh, Brownie, hello. Good morning. It's good to see you. 125,720, 8,000
behind Bracenader. Oh my goodness me, that's a stonker. Well, that I'll just put myself in the bin.
I think we're both putting our predictions in the bin. Let's just chuck that. Where's that bin? There you go. Yeah, have it.
Well, that's the thing, though, is what is not highlighting exactly what we're saying earlier. It really could go either way. Bracenader and Hyperz are our safe bets, and I'm sure everyone can agree on that by past experience. But wow, Brownie just saying, "Hi, I'm here. You're going to have to work for this." In that time's out of the go. But where is Bracenader? He's on his time lag. He's coming through Village in the loop. I'll keep an eye on him to see if he is pushing. He's now using his ERS. So can he improve on that time? But we still are 5.5 minutes away. We're not in the Banzai phase yet. So that time could still come down.
No, we've still got a bit to go. I mean, it looks like it's the calm before the storm. I can assure you it isn't. Not yet, anyway. I mean, we're near enough there.
It's been very constant. Only now has there been a lull or comparative lull, with most people being in the pit.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a very sporadic final lap. I think a lot of people want the clean air, really, unless your teammate is giving you the tow. And I think ultimately, where would you want that tow? I imagine probably the hanger straight. That's probably the only... Oh, mistakes. Schneider. Yep, he's
already been there. He's invalidated his lap. I was on board with him, and the map is red, so he's invalidated his lap. It was somewhere around between Maggots and Chapel that went wrong, so he's going to pull, and his fuel red, so he's going to have to pull that one into the pits again and potentially use up another set of tyres. I doubt that was on the plan. Bracenader could well be feeling the pressure here.
Yep. We're here. We're at the time. It is the calm before the storm. Get it spammed in the chat, because you know this is our favourite time as we are prepping ourselves to get ready for what you like to call the Banzai phase. Zones has started his lap. The thing I'm worried about is Zones is out on a set of tyres that have already done a lap. I mean, it looks like he's trying to charge back through to do another.
JC has gone onto the soft tyres. Everyone that has set a time within a second of the top spot. Every single person. The only people that haven't are the 3 that can't set a lap time, Absinthe, Nicolas, and Kai.
Wow. I think the top 3 it's crazy how close they are.
Yeah,
now, just for comparisons, Nicolas Longue, if he was able to do qualifying, I've seen the times he's posted in the practice sessions. He's done 125.2s in the past, which is phenomenally quick. Now, I've not yet seen him do that in a league race. Not to say that it's not possible. I've just not yet seen him do it. And we're not going to get to see him do it again today, because he has got probably the hard... Well, he's tied with two other people to do the hardest mission here, which is to get a... I was just watching Zones doing some interesting lines.
He'd already binned it. It was around left field somewhere. I didn't see quite where he'd done it, but he wants to book it back, get another set of boots on. Bearing in mind, he's used 2 sets of mediums as opposed to 2 sets of softs, so he's got the soft tyres to do it. Wonder Brakes kicking in there. That's the anyone that remembers Carmageddon. That's the ultra handbrake that used to happen in that.
I remember Carmageddon. Good game.
Oh, feels like a few years.
Very graphic, considering.
And what do you know? Pragenator is out again.
Yeah.
On what must be his last set of soft tyres. That could bite him in the race, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if the safety cars come out, it could very easily be in a position where if the first one comes out, he's fine. He's just going to go mediums and love it. But if another one comes out, he hasn't got a choice but to stay. He has to just hold position and just keep hold of the tyres because he's got none left now. That's it. So Pragenator in a big pickle.
It's a bit... Silverstone is a less likely track than, like, for instance, Monaco or Baku or other tighter tracks, but it's happened. It's happened at very horrible times with some drivers. And Pragenator is backing off as I think it's an Alpha that's ahead of him. That must be Yenab that is out on track. So he wants to give himself the biggest amount of space he can. It looks like he's going to blast it after Vale. Fair enough. Hopefully he's got enough heat into his tyres. And here it's up and away he goes on his final time lap. Everyone except for Zones and Boemels. Oh no, Boemels has just come out. And just so Zones. Just as I mentioned that. Oh, but Pragenator's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. This could act against him. He's going to have to hope that his pole time is good enough, which is, by the way, his one and only timed lap.
Nicolas Longue is out on track, despite having a qualifying ban. Intrigued to see what is going on there. But Infamous is currently on a hot lap and is looking very fast. Let's see whether or not Infamous is actually going to be able to get himself up to where we normally predict him to be. P13 is where he's currently sat with a 126.396. 2 corners to go. Was that invalidated? That was very tight. That was very tight indeed. Here he comes into the line. P4, 125.810. My worry is, I think majority of the people are going to start jumping that soon. I'm worried for him. I think he might lose a lot of places here.
Nicolas Longue is retired, of course, not allowed to set a time. Oh, look at JC. He's got one of the Mercs directly ahead of him. It must be... It must be Hyperz.
No, it's Get-Owned.
Oh, it's Get-Owned.
Yeah.
So it's just started. So I was worried for JC there because he really had to back off. Speaking of Hyperz, here he comes over the line. Can he improve? 25.801 is the time.
That's the wrong line.
Oh, that was wrong stuff in his line. I didn't actually... I had the minimap on. I didn't actually look to see where he was on it. That caught me out completely. So he came over the old stuff in his line. He is absolutely blasting it. Ooh, what's happened to Pragenator?
Pragenator. He's just backed out. He's gone into the pits and then immediately retired from the session. So he's going to do a 125.712. There's a possibility he might not get pole position here. I mean, Brownie's not currently going on another hot lap. Something's gone wrong on his. Here comes Hyperz then. With only a couple of corners to go, there's an opportunity for him to potentially jump the pole position spot. He's going to have to jump 2 cars in order to get this achieved. He's got no ERS left. He's absolutely dumped everything. And has he done it? Yes, he has. A 125.628 for Loche Hyperz on pole position.
Boom. Nicely done. I thought he'd overcooked that coming out of Stowe. He looked really, really wide, but just about hung on to that one. I think Get-Owned has actually got someone right behind him. He's got several people right behind him as Dennis retires from 12th to 12.2. There's only 6 tenths off the new pole time, so that's a decent slot. Get-Owned, does he improve? 26.0, improves in time but not position. Or he may not have improved in time at all, but his qualifying is done. Is anyone still going? Pandemic?
He's coming up to it now. Is this going to be quick enough? I don't know. Oh, P2! Okay. Wow, 125.702. Solid performance from him.
I'll come and join you in the bin, I think.
Yeah,
that's an absolute belter from Pan Pernick. Very nicely done. And again, we mean no disrespect to everybody that we didn't put in the top three. This is guesswork, much the same as anything else. Well, there could be an almighty great collision in turn one that takes everyone, and we put the top three out anyway. So, but what a great statement of intent from the Ferrari. 25.702. And I'll add, there was no slipstreaming going on in that. I don't think anybody has actually tried any slipstreaming from what I can see. That's just been raw pace.
I'm intrigued as to what happened to Brownie. Brownie had promised to be, well, realistically on pole up until Hyperz chucked in that phenomenal time. But, you know, it's... I'm a bit mind blown as to what happened. I'm hoping it's something as trivial as he just invalidated, but it didn't look like it. He had everything he needed. He could have just bolted around the track and potentially had it. Instead, no, he sells for, I think it was P4, P5, which is very unlikely. Right then, that's the end of the qualifying session. We have got Hyperz on pole position. Almost a 10th is what is separating him and Pan Pernick, as Pan Pernick takes P2. Preschneider, who looked dead set on taking that pole position, just could not get that final lap together and invalidated the last two, ultimately put him P3. With Brownie there in P4, Infamous taking P5, Zones P6, Get On P7 with Yolta in P8, Buemel's P9, Yonti getting the final of the top 10 positions, with Janab getting the best of the rest. But when you look at the gap, every single driver that chucked a time on the board is within 1 second of the pole time. This is going to be very, very close battling all race long.
There's also something else I noticed. There's very few spots that had more than a 10th in between each position. So it's not just close from top to bottom. It's very, very, very close between each car. Of course, you know, consider the maths. Of course, they're going to be close together when first to, 15th, I think, or 15th or 16th is less than a 10th of a second. But the amount of people less than a 10th in between, 3 or 4 cars was just insane. This ought to be good, and that sky looks pretty comfortable for these guys.
Yep.
Not like when I was at Silverstone in 2018, but that's another matter.
I think I was just about to say, I mean, obviously we're both from Britain. We know exactly how the weather works here. And, that doesn't mean anything. You look at the sky, it's pure sun right now. Give it 5 minutes. Could be an absolute downpour. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. But we are about to kick off with the formation lap. And leading us around is going to be Veloce Hyperz.
Once again, Hyperz taking the top spot. Incidentally, in 2018, it was baking hot. It was in the middle of a 6-week heat wave that we had that year, and I didn't like that at all. I'm not a fan of unavoidable heat. Tyre strategy, fairly predictable from 11th downwards, except, interestingly, for Danico, he's gone for soft, so he's going to have to bolt past Copy, some idiot Dennis, and Janab pretty quickly to make that work. Everyone else doing what you would expect from anyone starting outside of the top 10, starting on the mediums, going towards the softs. I've seen that pay dividends quite nicely. Yep. The Force India, I did it again. The Racing Point pair have had an incident, and this. Oh my God, Nicolas Long has made this job even more difficult for himself. That they're both sat on the line, so their car tires are going to be so cold. Also, Dan's joined us in the McLaren. I did see that he joined the session, but he didn't come out during qualifying because he joined after quali had started. But yeah, we have a full grid. Always good to see. But Nicolas Longuet, I admire your confidence, my man. But you've made the mountain that much more difficult to climb.
Yeah, he's in a real pickle here. The other issue for Dan, though, is that he also, because Parc Fermé is on, he has to sell for default setup. He can't change his setup at all. So he's going to have a very tough race today.
That's going to be painful. I mean, I've never raced in F1 2019, but understanding how much of a difference a good setup makes from an observatory point of view. Obviously, you, Raggy, will know from a driver's perspective how you tailor the setup to your own style and what have you. Ooh, Dan, if you do well, then absolutely full respect on a default setup.
Would you like to take the start, or would you like me to?
Oh, I wouldn't mind. I'll give it a
yours.
go. So thank you very much, sir. I won't start from Dan's perspective, though. I'll jump to the front. That would be an interesting one. Right then, we know this procedure. It is time for the 5 lights. And to get underway here at Silverstone, here we go. 4 lights, 5 lights. It is time to wind them up and let them go. It was a really short hold this time, but away we go. Panic slots in right behind Hyperz. Brownies had a really good position. Already demoted Prationator down a position. They're having a great old scrap coming down to the first braking zone, which is Village. Danny's had a terrible start. He's already at the back of the field. Here we go. Lots of side-by-side action going on, as you would invariably expect. It does look like broadly everybody's made it through. Now on to the Wellington Straight for the first time in anger. And, of course, no DRS available. Hyperz has got a tiny bit of breathing space. Actually, the top 3 have tried to get away. And now, Infamous and Brownie side-by-side coming through Brooklands and Nuffield. And there is Zones as well trying to get involved in that particular fight. But what a great start. Does look like, with the exception of Danny, everyone's had a pretty decent start.
It has. I just saw a moment as well where between Nicolas Longate and Kai Puccini, it was Kai went for the inside line and there was a little bit of a nudge into the side of Nicolas, and Kai's just ran wide in cops and he's lost that position as a result. Nicolas Longate up now into P16. He was up to P14 at one point, but just something went wrong on that Wellington Straight. He just could not get that pace together. But look at the gap that Hyperz has started off with already. We're coming towards the end of lap 1 and he's very comfortably, that's going to be around about what, 5-6 tenths?
Indeed, half a second between the two. Look at this, Yonti and Yelta side by side coming through Stowe, and they've been side by side for quite a while as well. And in comes Boemels as well to get involved in that particular fight. Dennis has got a brilliant view of this whole fight. Yelta's still side by side with someone, and this time it's Boemels as we complete the first time lap. And my timing board's gone nuts. Apparently, Danny Coase jumped into the lead, but that's another matter. I haven't seen anyone come into the pits yet. Oh, my timing board is now correct. So looks like everybody has indeed survived.
Panpernick is very far back. Something's gone wrong, and along with Dennis. Dennis has had a major issue there. That's not good for him. He's trying to get himself out of trouble. His teammates coming on by as well. No issues there. Nicolas Longate is going for a move here on the inside of Samidia. Samidia's trying to hold him as tight as he can. Nicolas goes deep into the corner, but he's somehow managed to get the car stopped. Not only stopped, but also ahead, and that's Kai getting rotated there. He's gone into the side of Samidia, and that's caused him to fall right down the field now into P18. Dan's just slipped by as well, and a little bit of wing damage just to go with it. That is more injury than he necessarily wanted, and that's unfortunate for him. Whereas Geton is being chased by Yonti. We also have Zones who's trying to get onto the back of Brownie, and he's actually doing a pretty solid job of it. He's actually right there on the back of him, but we still do not have DRS just yet. We have the remainder of this lap to go before that is activated.
Panpernick, I spoke to you soon. Panpernick's missing a fairly substantial amount of front wing. Didn't see the incident myself, but he is down at the back. And look who we've got as a top 3. Well, you've gone and undermined exactly what I was talking about. The Infamous reclaiming that 3rd spot. And now will we see, Hyperz lead start to evaporate? Well, no, not judging by the fact he's holding on to the fastest lap as they work their way through farm down towards Village once again. Prationator is very much keeping his eyes forward. Infamous not quite in the position to attack just yet. Fair old way to go, and I have no doubt that is going to change a lot before the day is done. Yeah,
absolutely. This is starting to get very, very spicy along. Yolta's on the back of Yonti, who's they've all got DRS. From P6 right the way down to P14, they're all within DRS of each other. I mean, there are some marginal ones. Somebody is just about to lose that DRS to Nicolas Longate, who's managed to work his way up to the back of Yenab, and he's currently trying to find a way through. Yenab's going to actually leave a door open. Is Nicolas going to send it? He's not. There's a little bit of contact, but a little bit of stability on the rear there for Nicolas allows him to just sort of hang in there, sit on the back of Yenab, and work his way towards him as we come up to Cop's corner. Oh, Yenab's made a mistake. Nicolas had to back out there. You could see the intention was there to just send it down the inside, but Yenab just lost the rear. Managed to catch the car again, and Nicolas read that perfectly.
Yeah, the other racing point is a bit of argy-bargy with Kai Bettini towards the tail of the field. But yeah, Nicolas Longate doing what he can to try and make his way up through the field. He's only just under 8 seconds from the leads. He dives on the inside of Stowe. Little bit of contact between himself and Yenab. Yenab's hanging on in there. My goodness, Yenab's kept his foot in it. He's not willing to let that position go. I don't care who you are. Don't barge me off the road. And fair play to Yenab in the Alpha. has kept Nicolas longer at bay.
He really has, and Infamous has worked his way to the back of Preschneider as well, and that gap between Preschneider and Hyperz is just over a second, which means he's not going to have DRS, so there's an opportunity here for Infamous to just slingshot past him, get himself into Hyperz DRS, and then Hyperz is no longer safe. This is about to be a mega issue for Hyperz, but it's about to be even worse for Preschneider's. Infamous actually sits back a little bit, decides not to attack just yet, although there is a gap there. Is he going to send? Nope, he's not. No opportunity for him just yet.
You need to commit much earlier to Luffield if you're going to try and make a move there. Seen it done. That was exactly where I watched the 2018 race from, was Luffield. It's a great place to watch as well because it acts as that particular complex, Brooklands, Luffield, and down towards Wookey. It's like a sound box. It makes everything louder, which is wonderful when the Masters, when the V8 Cosworths were coming through it. That was glorious. No bones about that whatsoever. But yeah, Infamous. Oh, has he been waiting for Stowe? No, he's not close enough. Preschneider doing exactly what he needs to do just to give himself enough breathing space between himself and the Haas to keep Infamous at bay. But how long is he going to be able to do that? Hyperz has not had such a good run through Maggers and Beckett's. He's lost some time. He's now in danger of allowing, or giving, I should say, DRS to Preschneider, and that's just going to drag Infamous along with him. Brownie's not out of it, though. He's still getting DRS off the back of the warring pair of Preschneider and Infamous. So the Renault is still right there in there. Oh, goodness me, Infamous. Have a look at the inside coming through Village on Preschneider. Doesn't quite get the move done, but Hyperz isn't running off into the distance. Has he burned the best out of his tyres? It's certainly possible, but Infamous is much closer this time. And no, he didn't. He actually kept his ERS down, so he's not interested in trying to make a move into Brooklands, and it's not surprising because you really have got to commit very, very early to that move. Otherwise, you're just a sitting duck for Luffield. He wants to make the move at Stowe, but Preschneider is still just chipping away at that lead between himself and Hyperz. Hyperz is not out of the woods by any stretch.
No, not even slightly. My worry is Infamous left it too late now. The issue he's going to have is if he didn't pass Preschneider there, which obviously he didn't, then now he's going to have to sit behind Preschneider because he's now back in that DRS. And ultimately, I don't think, unless Hyperz just somehow pulls away all of a sudden, I don't think he's going to be able to escape that now. So Infamous is just kind of stuck in P3 and he can't pass Preschneider at all. There's just no way. I think he made a massive mistake there. Missed out on an opportunity that would have allowed him to really take the P1 here.
Possible as Gedone and Yonti having a scrap for 6th position. The Haas on the inside of the Mercedes as they come into Brooklands. Brooklands, wrong corner again. Into Vale. And there we go. I thought that was going to happen. Preschneider has now got DRS off the back of Hyperz. So, Hyperz is going to be under a lot of pressure very, very quickly. I'm still watching the battle between Yonti and Gedone as they work their way through Abbey, through Farm, down into Village. And I did wonder whether the Haas was going to banzai that one on the inside of turn 3, but didn't go for it. Now into the loop. Coming through Aintree, Gedone a little bit squiggly on the traction zone on the exit of turn 4. Now onto the Wellington straight. And no, again, Yonti isn't interested in making the move into Brooklands. No ERS deployed there, but he hasn't got a lot of ERS to deploy either. So this is... the ERS management can be a bit tricky at Silverstone because a lot of the corners are quite fast as Kybagini gets his name, I think, for the second time on the penalty board. ERS management is definitely something they have to think about. There are heavy braking zones, but not many. So everyone's been using the ERS energy quite a bit. Hyperz has got 44%, Preschneider 38%, Infamous just under the 50% mark. So Infamous is actually keeping himself fairly well in the battle because he doesn't need to use a great deal of his ERS energy. And look at the top 3 now. They're very, very close together. Zones is about 1.5 seconds off the back of them, but could very easily get himself in this fight as well. He's about 30% ERS energy. Brownie, not too much different, around about 40 to 45. Yelter is in the pits. He's the first one to jump into the pits. 5 laps on softs. That's fair enough. He would have qualified on those. 21 laps on the media, or 20 laps on the mediums. I should imagine so. They'll be a little bit tired by the end. He's gone hard.
Yeah, it's coming way earlier than he should have done, honestly. I mean, yes, he's on softs, and I think on some track, well, not I think on some tracks, you would absolutely want to get yourself off those tyres and chuck yourself onto a harder compound. But here in Silverstone, the soft tyre wear is nowhere near the level you would expect. on other tracks. So he's really coming so early. Going on hards here is ultimately just signing his race away. There's no way he's going to pull this off now, I don't think.
Yeah, the mediums would have lasted. They'd have been quite awkward at the end, but they'd have lasted. I was watching again the battle for the top 3. Hyperz was very cautious through Luffield, but absolutely blasted it.
Sorry, Dan and JC actually just had a real side-by-side moment throughout, and that was now... It's still going on, really. They've not even given up. Dan and JC are literally going toe-to-toe as they come through Cop's corner. They're going to make this work, I think, as Dan's come right across, and that was almost JC getting sent off towards the wall. Dan does finally get the move done. That is very much how he wanted it to go down, but that time penalty will nullify everything he's just done, and he's going to have to work even harder as Nicolas Longuet just shot down the inside of Danico. He's now up in a P9. He's making movements here on this circuit. He's got Boemels lined up already, and I think ultimately he's going to have to wait for the Wellington straight.
Longuet is pushing hard. He is absolutely flying on those medium tyres, but then he had to. You know, what other choice did he have? He's pretty much got to throw caution to the wind to keep his championship hopes alive from starting from the back of the field. But, you know, we did say if anybody could do it, it would be a Nicolas Longuet. And, in fairness, Gap's lead, he's only just over 8 seconds. It wasn't that far under 8 seconds. Last time we checked in with him, he is now bothering the back of the soft runners of Boemels in this particular instance. He'll go another 4 or 5 laps at a guess on those medium tyres. Again, bearing in mind that they've had no qualifying laps on them at all, so Longuet could take them quite a bit quicker and then just have qualifying laps on his fitted set of soft tyres. I can't look away from this lead battle for long. It is absolutely brilliant. You know, Hyperz showing very early pace, which does seem to have faded away. I think he just burned the best out of those tyres, honestly.
That's problem.
How much steeper do you want to make this mountain, Longuet? My God, man!
I mean, I'm watching this top 3 battle as well. Actually, I'm just going to quickly watch Copy and Yenab, because Yenab's got Copy lined up, ready to go into Stowe. Copy's not going to be able to defend this one, I don't think, because actually saying that Yenab, I think he just faked out as if he's going down the inside. Copy was too busy watching his mirrors and saw nothing, effectively, and Copy then kind of ran deep into Stowe, and Yenab's still there, trying to get the cutback. Copy very much defend his line. He's still P8 for now, and I don't think Yenab's got this. He's got no ERS to work with. That's why he's in mode 0, just trying to utilize this toe as much as possible, charge that back up somehow. Maybe yeet it into the next corner. Nope, he's not. He's just waiting, biding his time. But yeah, just going back to what I was saying. I mean, Infamous is obviously in. He's now pitted onto mediums. He's going to go the remainder of the race on those tyres, unless we have a safety car, which I would then expect to see somebody try the soft strategy. But Infamous's ERS was the same as Hyperz. Oh, here comes Yenab down the inside of Copy. That's going to be a nice smooth overtake. Copy's got the move back though because of the deep send that Yenab had. He carried so much momentum it didn't work out, but he's still ahead actually. He's got that position back. Copy's still wheel to wheel. It's not going to be in his favour there as Yenab has got P6 locked in.
Brilliantly driven from both of them. That could have ended up a very big, horrible mess on the outside of the track. Of course it didn't. They both very well handled that. I tell you what, I'm keeping a firm eye on Longuet as well. He absolutely mugged. It was Boemels before he came into the pits. I've left him for dead, as he's now on the back of Ghetto, who's my third place prediction in this race. Again, Longuet does have that penalty. Prationator and Hyperz have come into the pits at the same time. Of course, Ghetto can't. Well, he could, but he would lose out much more. His only chance is to try and keep Longuet behind him, and with how much the Frenchman's been fighting, that's an impossible task on very, very second-hand soft tyres now. So Gedon leads the way for the time being, but he's not going to be there long. Again, no disrespect meant. What's going on in the pits? Hyperz and Prationator coming. Yeah, there's no real change there. I think Hyperz might have a little bit more in his pocket, but not by much.
Zone's getting the fastest lap with a 129.630. That's a point in his pocket if he can get into the top 10 to secure it. Geton gets a little bit deep there. Nicolas right here on the rear of him. No changes just yet. I imagine it's going to be a run up towards Cost, or maybe on the exit of this corner, because Geton is so much slower through there in comparison to Nicolas. Nicolas is feeling very good, and somehow he's managed, despite all of the pace he's chucking in right now, he's still managed to manage 70% on his ERS. Geon runs wide. That's a definite one in there for sure. And he will be in an awkward position. Actually, I've just noticed Infamous has actually jumped the race leader, which was Hyperz. They are still side by side as they come out of it. Hyperz has got the inside line. Infamous is trying his hardest to stay alongside of him. Mode 4 in his ERS, and they're going to be going side by side through Cop's Corner. Hyperz gets the better of it, and Infamous will slot back in, but he has jumped Preschneider.
Wow. And also, Longue did manage the pass into Stowe. Now, Gedon is in the pits now, so he had nothing left on those tyres. But Longue leads the race. Yep, make room in that bin. I'm on my way.
I'll hop in as well. Just wait for you. We'll do it together. It's fine. Yeah, Preschneider is in an awkward pickle right now. He's managed to get past zones, but look at the gap. Look at the gap between him and Infamous. He's going to have to work it down again, get himself in. Yes, he's only 2/10 off, and based on the fact that they've got some traffic up ahead, which is Dennis, the likelihood is he's going to be back in that DRS range, but he's got to pass Infamous. This is the position Infamous wished he was in, because even if he got ahead of Hyperz, he wouldn't have been able to hold it. He has no ERS. He burnt so much fighting to stay ahead of Hyperz. Ultimately still losing out means that, yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. But now what do you do? What do you do here? You've just got to follow Hyperz through as he passes Dennis. Otherwise, you're in a big pickle.
This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
He's going for it. Oh, I thought he was going to send it. I really thought he was going to send that. Oh, wow. I mean, they've got both cars through, but no.
Hyperz and Infamous both mugged Dennis. Again, Dennis's tyres are much more worn. But Infamous had to. He had to follow the tyre tracks of Hyperz. He didn't want to risk being stuck behind Dennis all the way down through Baggers and Beckett's. He didn't want to have to make the move into the hangar straight. What Infamous is wanting to do is make the move on Hyperz down the hangar straight. The only way he was going to do that was he had to make the...
Dan's off.
Oh, that is Dan. Oh, no. From well within the top 10... And he's facing the wrong way, or was facing the wrong way at Chapel. Back onto the track he comes. Oh, goodness me. That wouldn't be part of his game plan. Preschneider has also managed to get past Dan as well, as Preschneider's gone very wide, coming through Stowe. So now Preschneider's got no block in between himself and the infamous Hyperz fight going on. But Longue leads the way by 4.6 seconds over Yenaz, the top 5 for our medium starters, well, some of our medium starters, and Longue's just gone. I don't know how long the pit lane is here, but there's 20 seconds gap between Hyperz and Nicolas Longue right now. If he can somehow pick up a couple of seconds here, there's a possibility that he might actually pit and be right on the back of this battle. I think he might do it. He could well do it. The scary thing is, Longue's fastest lap, bearing in mind that Longue's only been on those medium tyres, and Hyperz, Infamous, and Preschneider started on the softs. Nicolas Longue was the second quickest of that block of 4. 29.6 Longue has done at some point on those medium tyres, whereas Hyperz, Infamous, and Preschneider are 29.6 to 29.8, I think. Wow. Yeah. The only way that Longue can throw this away is if he throws it into the wall. Also, bearing in mind that Longue's carrying that 3-second penalty, is as Infamous and Hyperz have just gone past JC into Stowe. So once again, Infamous doing a brilliant job of just hanging on for dear life off the back of that Mercedes through traffic. So Longue is either going to have to hope for a penalty on Hyperz, Infamous, and or Preschneider. He's going to have to hope for a penalty on them to nullify the 3 seconds, because Preschneider now gets the fastest lap. Or he's just going to hope that one of them throws it off the road. But Longue is still in a brilliant position that I would never have put him in. No, definitely not. I'm watching this battle as well for P14. Wemmels and Yolta, they went side by side throughout such a long period of time there. I am really astounded to see how they're managing to keep this going, but he's on the hard tyres. This just is not working at all for him. He needs to figure out a way through this. Yeah, I was surprised to see somebody else. We've got 3 people on the hards: Absinthe, Yalta, and Brownie. The hard tyres in a 50% race have always been, exactly as you said earlier, Raggy, that's the death knell. That's fine, I'm just going to can my race now. consign me to the tail end of the grid. And in comes Longe.
Yes.
So now it's on.
Where is Hyperz? So he's coming down the hangar straight right now. He's got Infamous in tow. In fact, Infamous looks like he might even be going for a move. No, he's not. He's mode 0. Schneider is well within this DRS range as well now, but he's in a position of, I can't attack just yet. I have to manage my ERS. Where is Nicolas then? Is he already on his way out? No, he's just got to his grid. Tyres have been changed, and off he goes. 12 laps to be done on these tyres then. Is Hyperz going to be massively far ahead? I mean, he's obviously going to be resuming the lead. There's no way Nicolas gained 6 and a bit seconds in that gap there, but he's going to come out, what's that, P9? Oh, P10. P11.
It might be 11. The thing that goes against Longe is traffic.
Yes.
He's going to basically have to hope that everybody he catches basically jumps out of the way or falls off the road, because he could potentially just lose so much time he's built up for himself as he comes out in 12th in the end. But then, he's got Dennis Vyers ahead of him. Those tyres are 13 laps old. He's just, I thought he was going to do that. I had a feeling he was just going to banzai that on the inside of Brooklands. Fresh soft tyres. Yes, please, I'll have these all day long. I mean, if he's really feeling bold, he'll have a go at Brownie coming out of Cops. You watch.
I mean, that was a move and a half. That took me by surprise. And he's still here on Brownie. He has to back out a little bit there. There's no real way to get through. And is he going to try and go side by side through Megaspecus? Nope, he decided it's just not worth it for either of us. We're only going to lose time. And Brownie is going to hold it now. But yeah, watch this exit. Watch this run. He's got no answer to this, says Brownie. Mode 4 on the ERS. DRS wing wide open. The soft tyres versus the hards. You can see the difference maker there. And Nicolas is now up into P9. And Get-Own's got a 3-second time penalty down in P17 as it stands. Ultimately, not a lot he can do here. I think that is going to be... I think it's going to be maybe at the tail end of the points potentially, but he's going to have a lot to do here.
Dennis in the pits as well after that. Yeah, you were surprised by that move in the Brooklands. That's exactly what I thought he'd do. I kind of had a envisaged that he'd have another go into Cops on Brownie, but he opted to... He was trying to spook Brownie coming into Maggots. I think Brownie is just like, nah, you're not even you are going to try that. And Nicolas obviously wisely backed out of that one. He's not daft. He knows what's on and what isn't. JC ahead of him, 14 lap old medium tyres. There's no way the Williams are going to keep a racing point behind him. Not a chance in hell. Again, no disrespect meant to JC, who's having a fairly steady race, but there's no way that he's going to be able to keep this absolutely nutcase Frenchman behind him. Zones is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. He's just changed onto soft tyres in the McLaren. I've been in twice. You can't.
Can I also just point out that something we both missed? Infamous is now assumed race lead, net race lead.
Yes, he's ahead of Hyperz.
I didn't notice that. Well, Hyperz has fallen behind, but in terms of ERS levels, Hyperz and Infamous are pretty much on a par, but then you have Schneider, who seems to be the king of charging his ERS battery. He's always got such high battery, and as Nicolas has passed just chilling quite smoothly. That's a nice easy... Just point out, look how close this gap is getting between this battle for P1, 2 and 3 and Nicolas. It was 6 seconds when the race leader decided to pit. It's now way less than that, and the fact that he's on softs, virtual safety car, this will help these guys a little bit in charging it, mainly for Hyperz and Infamous. This is good for them, but it's even better for Nicolas, because look at his ERS.
Absinthe bin that one on the heading down to Woodcote. That's where the stricken racing point is. I actually thought, because I was on board with Longe at the point, I started slowing down. I was like, you can't have run out of fuel. And then you said virtual safety car, so... Van Penning a 5-second penalty for that one, but yeah, that VSC didn't last long, but it will more than likely serve to upset the rhythm of Infamous, Hyperz and Schneider. Zones, like you were saying, is a couple of seconds off the back of this battle. This could well be a 5-way battle if Zones is able to get involved in it, which he has every chance of doing on those very fresh soft tyres. Oh, it's going to be a belter, but Infamous could well. I mean, if he's able to stave off all this pressure, staving off the pressure from one is, you kind of do the punch and counter punch routine, but when there's multiple people all vying for the same bit of track, there goes Hyperz on the inside of Stowe, and Infamous, I think, let that one go. That's the kind of the punch and counter punch routine that was going on, because Schneider is looking to upset the apple cart very much so. And of course, the more they do this, the more that's going to bring in the two behind them.
Yeah, well, this is it. And it's just, all this is doing is benefiting Nicolas, because the lead car is just not fast enough. The guys behind are not putting any pressure on the lead car at all. I mean, even Hyperz passing Infamous was more... that would be... I can tell you exactly what happened there. Race engineer said to Hyperz, "You have to go now. Nicolas is coming." Hyperz went, "Uh-oh, I better go," and then decided this is time to push against Infamous, and now he's trying to run away a little bit here, and you can see the ERS usage is starting to ramp up a little bit here for Hyperz. He's trying to just do everything he can to work away as Infamous has gone for the inside line. He's got that done and dusted. Hyperz let him by. They're trying to tow each other now. It seems like they're all in communication to each other. Okay, it's now your turn to go. You get the DRS, you get the tow, just run away with this. Schneider almost giving Hyperz a little kiss there on the backside, and Hyperz says, "No thanks, I'm running away. See ya."
They might well be playing that game. I'm not entirely sure, but there's another penalty on the board. My game is actually bugged. I don't know how long Zones has had his tyres on for. My screen has said he's had them on for 0 laps for quite a number of laps now. So I completely lost track of how old those soft tyres are. He did have the fastest lap at one point, so but they may well not last him too well. But he is closing in on that top 3 battle, or prospective top 3 battle. Samadi and Yanab ahead of them and yet to come into the pits. Longe within DRS range of Zones now. So again, he is on his way. He's going to be well involved in this fight for the lead before the checkered flag falls. But there are only 9 laps to go. So, is he running out of time?
Oh, Bemmels had a major issue there going through the second to last corner. He just lost the rear, and Yelta just cannot get anything from this. These hard tyres, again, like we said earlier, put these hard tyres on, you can kiss your race goodbye, because there's nothing you can do here. The mediums and hards in terms of wear are very similar, but in terms of pace, they are also very different, as Yelta's trying to prove they're not, and he's going for the inside line on Bemmels, and it just does not work out for him. Bemmels is still holding. We've got yellow flag sector 3. That is Dan, who's lost it through Stowe. He's currently still parked there, so there may be a major issue there for him. He's working his way back to the track, get unmixed his way through as Yolta again coming at Bemmels. He's going to go for the send. Yes, he is. This is an opportunity for him if he can get this back. This is for P10. He needs the point. He cannot allow Bemmels to get away with this, and he's just got no answer. Bemmels has so much more grip, so much more pace, and Bemmels will hold on to P10.
It's difficult to know where to look. There's battles everywhere. Bemmels, Yelta, and Copy as well. He's not far off the back of those guys. Of course, you've got Infamous, Hyperz, and Schneider having a crack at one another. Longe is now staring into the tailpipe of Zones, and I doubt the McLaren. Yeah, the McLaren's not even bothering to go to the inside line. Longe is in a prospective 4th now, and he's wow.
Well, look what's there. Look what's right there. Look what's right in front of him. He can literally see this battle for 1, 2, and 3, and he's already, he's 1.8 seconds off. That gap is dropping at ridiculous speeds. He's somehow working closer and closer to this battle for P1, 2, 3. Now, the other issue I've got is, and this is what I don't understand how he's going to fix this. I know he can catch them. It's when he catches them, how does he pass them and build enough of a gap to be able to get way further ahead? I think all he's going to basically do is get the bragging rights of getting physical race lead, finishing in race lead, taking that win if you like, but then obviously dropping back due to the penalty. He is honestly looking unstoppable right now.
He is, but I tell you what could potentially stop him: his own tyres. He has been pushing those tyres so hard since he put them on 5 laps ago. And yeah, of course the car is a bit lighter, but it's just going to be a case of, does he realistically have the grip left when he gets there? He'll get there all right. I have no doubt about that, as Dan has retired his car. He's brought that one into the pit lane. He's had enough. Retirement number 2 as Brownie and Danny swapping around for 7th, or 7th on my screen anyway.
Going for a move on Infamous now. Sorry.
Oh, outside of Stowe.
Yeah, this is an interesting line. It's actually going to cause them a lot of time issues here. Watch the gap between him and Nicolas as these managed to work that one through. Somehow Hyperz demonstrated how you overtake outside of Stowe, and he's in the lead again, if you like. But the gap, look at it. Look at the gap. Nicolas, 1.3. That's all he's done. 1.3. Now, I do need to make sure you are all aware that the vote for Driver of the Day has now opened. So do ! Vote in the chat if you want to get your vote in for who you think is Driver of the Day. Is Nicolas doing good enough of a job to secure that Driver of the Day vote, considering he started right at the back of the grid in P18, has worked his way all the way up to P4, and he's now battling for effectively race lead? Or is it that you've seen Hyperz do some incredible overtakes and started the race in such a great fashion that he's been able to manage this one all the way through, keep his race completely clean, touch wood, don't jinx it, and maybe even take those 25 points?
Hashtag commentator curse incoming.
Yep. That's why I touched the wood. I had to make sure I didn't jinx him, because he would have absolutely murdered me if he had the opportunity, as Danny is coming up to the back of Copy. A little bit of a wide line through there means he's going to have a good run, but Copy on softs should be much faster and should be able to just comfortably hop, skip, and jump away.
See, on my screen, Danny's in 8th, but he's been bouncing around everywhere on my screen, so I have no idea where the Ferrari is.
P10.
Oh, Longue, he's almost in DRS range. Also, he's got no ERS left, or he's 6% ERS left, so he's not going to be able to push that hard for too much longer, as the 3 ahead of him have varying amounts of ERS, but...
He's there. He's in it. That's going to refresh in a second, and you're going to see...
Yeah, there he is.
Right on that limit. Look at that. There we go. He's in it. He's in DRS range. That was all he needed. He just dumped his ERS to secure that. It was a massive gamble, and he's still on that limit. But if he breaks that little bit later than these guys, that gap will drop down nicely. If he carries the momentum through the corner, which he can do because he's on the softs, he's back in it. I don't know if he got that margin just before the white line. We've seen the detection zone. Has he got DRS? He has not. These guys will, and now they're all scared. Infamous has seen it. He's gone, I've got to go. Hyperz tries to defend it. He can't allow this to happen. He's still holding the inside line as Infamous is getting squeezed to the outside, and there's nothing for him to handle onto here. That is Infamous staying P2. Presschneider knows what's coming, and he has to go as well. He's trying to find any opportunity past Infamous. Nothing is coming, but I'll tell you exactly what's coming. The storm that is Racing Point, the storm that is Nicolas Longue, and everyone is panicking.
Winter is coming.
Winter is definitely coming. Although, if it's the tyres that are on Nicolas's car that's coming, it's summer, the sun, everything super hot is right here. He's in DRS. He's just going to charge his ERS for like 2 laps, and then boom, he's gone. See you later.
Man is hot. Man is hot. Oh, yeah, he is. But something else that I wonder whether Presschneider is like, yeah, all right, Hyperz and Infamous, you carry on. Wreck your tyres. Be my guest. And I wonder whether Presschneider is purposely just holding a little bit back. He's got the most, by far, ERS energy of the four of them. Of course, Longue's only just got there, and he's doing a pretty good job of actually recharging his battery in all this. Also, as you've already pointed out, Reggie, he does have to clear the back and by 3 seconds, or hope that they fall off the road. And if they're going to keep fighting like that, there's every possibility that they will fall off the road. As that Kai Bicini that's binned it? Yep, that's Kai Bicini that's had trouble on the exit of Luffield. So he's just recovering onto track. He won't thank me for highlighting that. But here we go. Nicolas Longue is grinning his head off in the Racing Point. I mean, he will want to get past them. He won't care if he does, because no one, certainly we, didn't expect him to fight his way all the way up from the tail end of the field through the chaos and now be staring at the battle for the win. And at this rate, he will get 3 seconds over zone. So even if he doesn't go anywhere else, he will more than likely finish minimum 4th position. Now, commentator cursed by me, I'll take it. DRS using a bit of ERS. Oh no, he's just sent his ERS down. Infamous again. Oh, he's going to try and repeat Hyperz move. He didn't need to. Hyperz backed out. That didn't fancy going side by side through Stowe. Oh, Presschneider steady. Again, I wonder now if Presschneider might rethink his strategy. If he was planning to do the I'll wait until these two either kill each other or kill their own tyres, then make my move. I bet you that large pink car in his mirrors is going to make him rethink his strategy.
He's going to have to. That's the thing. I don't think anybody's got a solution to this. I mean, going through that second to last corner, they were so close to each other. Oh, there's contact! Nicolas just kisses the back of Presschneider. No damage on his car, but Presschneider gets a big wobble as a result of that. And that gap has now been extended to 6 tenths, 7 tenths. This is actually allowing Nicolas to actually get past here. I mean, whether that was intentional or not is a different story, but if he does now use this toe to its fullest, is he going to send it? Yes, he is, through the inside. On Presschneider, there's not a lot he can do, and up in the P3 he goes. He has somehow, whether intentional or not, he has managed to knock Presschneider back into P4 and already starting his charge towards P2.
I don't think he intended the touch on Presschneider. I don't think he quite anticipated.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's undone it. If you get the win now, Longe, then, all hail the king, quite frankly. You're unable to undo a 6-second time penalty. I don't think... Actually, I'm going to double check the race director to see whether the other three have a... I don't think they do. Infamous has 2 warnings.
Well, bear that in mind because Infamous and Hyperz are actually side by side throughout the entire stow, and it looks like Hyperz is going to take the inside into the second to last, and Infamous is going to stick that through all the way out and push Hyperz to the outside. Hyperz reads that and says, no, I need to get a better exit than you, and I'm right here. I'm mode 4. I'm panicking because Nicolas is right here on the back of me as well. I don't have a solution. I will get sent on in this next corner. I can feel it. No, he's decided not to. The charge of the ERS is more important to him, and I think that's the right call here, but he's going to do it. He's got to do it. He's going to send it one more time in that same area of the track. 6-second penalty on Nicolas means you can almost guarantee there is no way he's going to make this stick, but look how close he is to the back of that Mercedes. The inside line is his. Hyperz is going to lose it. Oh, I thought there was going to be contact there between Nicolas and Infamous, but no. Nicolas up to P2. This is all about the bragging rights here. This is nothing in terms of the points because ultimately P4 is the best that Nicolas can hope for, and bearing in mind, Zones is still within that penalty range. Brownie is outside of it, but marginal. So P5 is realistically where Nicolas is looking at right now, unless he can somehow put something tremendous out there on track. 2 laps to go, 3 if you include the remainder of the one they're on right now, and I don't think this is Nicolas's bag, but the bragging rights that he's going to take off this is just going to be tremendous.
In fairness, he's earned it. He's earned. Is he going to ying that one on the inside of the stone? No, he didn't fancy that. He's going to go for Vale. Ooh, a little bit of a touch on the inside of the apex there. Is he going to banzai that one? I thought he was going to go for that, actually. No, he's going to go for his favourite spot then, which has been Brooklands. A couple of people have done it, but Longe's really made that his own trademark move, hasn't he, this race? Has been phenomenal. But yeah, I think Zones has enough to...
Oh, another one.
Really? Oh, come on, Longe.
Oh, Pressschneider. Oh, that scared me. That scared me. I thought he was going to go for it. And before we get into another battle, just a reminder, the last chance to vote for the driver of the day is about to end. When the checker flag falls, that's when you can no longer vote. Exclamation mark vote in the chat. Go for it.
I bet that scared Hyperz as well. Because, wow, Pressschneider was close to making that work. 2 to go, or less than 2 laps to go now. Infamous leads Longe, leads Hyperz, leads Pressschneider barely. I think it's fair to say. It's kind of irrelevant to what Longe does now. He's going to be finishing quite a way down the field, but what a drive he has put on the board. What a drive actually all 4 of these guys have done, because these guys have been in a battle for how long now? It's a good 10 laps post second pit stop. They've been and a decent amount of time before the pit stop as well. And they haven't come together. The only impact we saw was Longe getting a little bit ambitious on the brakes and nudging the tail of Pressschneider, but that may well have just given... And there goes Longe for the lead on the inside. No! Oh, does he nudge Infamous off? That's very, very close. Is Infamous going to hang on to that? He doesn't have to. He's going to, though, as both committed through fail. Oh, that's going to bunch the 4 of them up again. Longe does just about squeeze through to the lead. Here comes Hyperz on the inside of Infamous in the slipstream of the racing point. They're going to go 3 wide through Abbey. No, not quite. Longe just got ahead of them. Oh, contact between Hyperz and Infamous. And there goes Pressschneider into second or into effective race lead because Hyperz and Infamous have come together. Oh my goodness, drama in the closing stages of the race.
How has that happened? What happened there? I don't know exactly, but Hyperz and Infamous just got tangled up in each other, and somehow Pressschneider has been gifted this win because look at the pace, look at the lines, and Nicolas Longe will have to slot back in a P2. He knows his race is done, so he can't go anywhere with all these penalties. Hyperz is going to have to somehow sweat his absolute mind off here to try and regain the lead. I don't think he can do it. It's just too much.
Wow, I mean, that's my commentator goes. I said they hadn't come together the whole time. That one's on me. I'll take that. Pressschneider has made the move on Longe. I wonder if Longe's too low on fuel, because again, he would have been pushing so hard. Pressschneider just kind of flew past him coming into Brooklands. It rather depends on what Longe does coming down into Stowe. Let's see what he does. When he's turning the ERS up, he's still got his foot pinned to the floor. Rwagnation defends the inside line. Oh, wow, that gets a little bit close.
Oh, they're side by side.
They are side by side. Oh, Oh, that's so close. Longay's got nothing to lose, essentially. Preishnader does, and he's not letting him have a bit of a nudge between the two. Here comes Hyperz. He's going to slide to the inside of Preishnader.
Hyperz!
Hyperz!
Oh my God, Hyperz! What was that?
Hyperz
How did he do that?
sideways over the line. Preishnader will feel furious about that because, again, Longay wasn't realistically in this fight.
What was that, Hyperz? You can't do that. That's not illegal. That's illegal, dude. You can't. Where did he come from? I am lost for words. Hyperz gets the race win in the very last corner by just sliding through, and he literally chucked everything at it. He lost the rear of the car as he crossed the line because he was so committed to just getting that win, and it paid off. He takes the 25 points, and you know he's going to go ecstatic in the driver's interview later when we get to that. I am blown away. Hyperz.
Wow.
Wow. Insane. Absolutely insane. That's not just the move of the season. That is the move of the league. In the history of the Rwagnation League, I have never seen anything like that. Tremendous.
I think I put Preishnader as my point for number one, but wow, Hyperz, that was insane. Bearing in mind with that impact they had at the beginning of the lap, that could have easily, he could have easily given up on that, and he didn't. And
insane.
Wow.
Insane. Now, Nicolas Longay did cross the line first. However, he did lose out due to the penalties, so he fits in P5. But he did get the Twitch chat driver of the day win. So congratulations, Nicolas, for that. However, Hyperz, in dramatic fashion by just over a tenth, does secure that race win. Preishnader there in P2 with Infamous there getting the third step of the podium, with Brownie in a very solid P4 despite the fact he actually started on hard, so very well done to him for achieving that. Nicolas gets P5 due to penalties, Zones in P6, Yonti in P7 with Copy there in 8th, Buemels in 9th with Yolta getting the final point, with Danny getting Best of the Rest award, then Panpernik in 12th, Yenab in 13th, Samidia in 14th, Just Chillin 15th, Dennis 16th, Geton 17th, Kai Bacini 18th, and then your DNFs were Dan and Absinthe. Oh, that leaves me with one final question then for you, Mr. Kodiak. Who is your driver of the day?
See, up until that last lap or two, I was adamant it was going to be Longay, but you know what? I'm going to give it a Hyperz.
Yep.
That move at the end. But equally, Longay realistically should not have been involved in that lead battle. Of course he was going to be. He's a racer and he wants to have crossed the line first. But it was too much. It was just one move too much. He should have bowed out and let Preishnader take the win. You could argue that Preishnader should have backed out of it knowing that the penalties were there. He may not have done. He would have had to have checked with his race engineer to know that the penalty was there. So, and let's face it, he had a lot of things going on. But that move at the end, and also with that impact that Hyperz had with, it was Infamous, at the beginning of the lap, could easily have killed them both. It could have easily... And I probably would have been like, oh, damn it, okay, that's the win gone. He didn't. He absolutely hooned it and took it sideways on the final corner coming out of club. No, Hyperz gets it for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Hyperz absolutely deserves it with the most phenomenal overtake to end all overtakes there.